Good evening to one and all present here. Thanks a lot, sir, for coming here, Acharya Prashant, sir. Today we feel really blessed to have you to address us Enactus SLCE students. You have been really kind enough to accept our invitation, so we really thank you for that. Although, sir, you don't need an introduction, but because this is a podcast which will be published, that means that we have to share some things about you. Acharya Prashant sir is an acclaimed Vedanta executive to a national bestseller and also a national best-selling author for over 100 books. He's a powerful force of socio-spiritual transformation who has been helping people around the world with his knowledge and expertise. Today, millions of people are inspired by Acharya Prashant sir. He continues to share his wisdom to masses through various offline and online channels. Sir, it's an honor to welcome you to address us students of Enactus Shamlal College Evening. Thank you.
Welcome all of you.
The thing that we are doing right now is a project called Qissah by Enactus Shamlal College Evening. So what it does is it shares the stories and the untold stories of people, and from people who are really successful at what they do, their views and their opinions. So this is the project that we have started.
Sir, my question is related to midlife crisis. Midlife crisis is a rising trend in society, and unfortunately, students within the age bracket of 20 to 30 are getting midlife crisis. So, why they are getting this, and how to deal with this?
See, what you call as a midlife crisis, irrespective of the age when it hits you, is basically blow of the truth. As a college student, you have been taught to have certain dreams. You have been conditioned to have certain dreams. And you will not invest yourself in those dreams unless it is simultaneously assured to you that the dreams will get you happiness and fulfillment, right? Will you buy something without an assurance that the thing will fetch you happiness, etc.? You essentially buy a promise of fulfillment and happiness, irrespective of what you buy, right? Otherwise, you will not invest yourself in the thing or the idea or the dream or the person or the job or the ideology or the lifestyle. All these are things, all this is stuff that we are made to buy into, right? And we are convinced that if we buy into these things, then the result will be satisfactory. Obviously, the sellers of these dreams and ideologies and lifestyles will not want you to question these things, because it becomes difficult to sell something spurious if the customer is too investigative, right? No salesman enjoys a very inquisitive customer. So, these are not presented to us as things or options. These are presented to us as inevitable truths. You have to have a certain kind of lifestyle. As a young person, life is more or less scripted for you, and the script is inviolable. It's not optional. It is the truth. See, only the truth is inviolable. Everything else is simply optional. And if something is presented to you as inexorable, something you just cannot avoid, then it is being presented to you as the truth, right? Irrespective of whether the presenters use that word or not.
What I think one of the major reason for midlife crisis is larger than life image that movies and OTT platforms portray. So these movies are manipulating the kids and more importantly manipulating the reality, and youngsters are also relying on them. So why did this happen, and how to deal with this situation?
See, you buy into an entire book. You cannot now pick and choose among the chapters of the book. How is it possible that you continue to believe in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you say chapter 8 and 9, I will not believe, I'll not accept, and I'll not implement in my life? That's not possible. Where do movies come from? Where do movies come from? All this movie business is very deeply related to the kind of lives that you live. You cannot continue to have the lives that you have and yet avoid movies. See, that's a very lucrative argument that many of us internally cultivate. We say, no, everything is okay about our life. It's the movies that are spoiling the culture. The question is, where are the movies coming from? They are coming from the same ecosystem that is breeding you. It's impossible to have the life that you have and not have the movies that you have. Your life is boring because it lacks authenticity. Therefore, you need movies that involve thrill, adventure, sex, violence, and juicy songs and all those things. Had your lives been different, would you have required movies like that? And as long as your lives are what they are, you will continue to need those movies. But we like to put all the blame on the movies. We say, oh, no, life is okay. Movies are spoiling it. But sir, the movies do not drop from the heavens. The movies are a product of the society that we are.
Good evening, sir. My name is Malvika. My question is that we have seen many celebrities talk about their morning routines as the key solution to their achievements. So, according to you, what is the perfect daily routine for everyone?
I have never had a set routine, so I'm not the right person to ask this one to. But see, I wake up and I stretch my hand to my workstation, which is my phone, and that's the routine. That sets it. The ball is rolling now, and I don't realize when the day ends. I have very little idea. So, routine. You know, when you are on the battlefield, they say that all your plans are only till when the first bullet is fired. Before the battle begins, obviously you draw very meticulous plans on both sides. The generals on the two sides are sitting and saying, this is my strategy, we'll do this, attack from here. But the moment the first shell is fired, all the plans are gone. Then it's just your sincerity towards your cause that takes you home. So that's how it has been in my case.
Hello sir, good evening. My name is Suhail and my question to you is that youngsters nowadays are very cautious about their diet, their health. They try to live a good lifestyle. So they try to wake up early, first thing they do yoga or meditate. They try to follow a good diet, etc. But yet at the end of the day they complain about not being enough, feeling empty, feeling incomplete. Why do you suppose this happens?
Because you're not born to just have a great lifestyle. You are born for a purpose, and we have already spoken of the purpose. The purpose is freedom from your pre-existing bondages. This happens in Tihar. They arrange yoga for the inmates. Does that liberate them? Yoga classes are arranged for all the prisoners. That makes them more peaceful prisoners. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of yoga and meditation has become. You remain inside your prison and keep meditating. What else can you anyway do? You have been served a life sentence. You have gotten into something you cannot get out of your entire life, right? So meditate. That will keep you peaceful till you pass away. Meditation then becomes an obligation. Real meditation is revolution. If you are really meditative, you will rise and blow yourself up like a suicide bomber. That's what real meditativeness is. If you do not want to challenge your fundamental problems, instead you want to keep giving yourself superficial treatments. I have only salad for dinner. How will that help? How will that help? The fellow takes only salad at night. How will that help? It's all within the cage. Nice salad, Greek salad, served in the cage. How will that help?
You were talking about the cage. So what came to me was this cage is of my tendencies and the things that just arise in me without me knowing. Did I get it right?
The nature of the self is freedom. When you value something more than freedom, right? Then you give up on the freedom to accept that thing around you. Please understand the nature of the cage. What is a cage? Something around you. Something, you are there and there is something around you. That's called a cage. That thing is around you because you have accepted it, allowed it to be around you. Basically, you have said, I am trading away my freedom for this thing. Because if you want to retain your freedom, then you cannot have the cage. If you retain your freedom, can you have the cage? Okay. So it's a deal. You have bartered away your freedom for something else.
There's one thing that I feel that should be discussed is that is true purpose of life. We all talk about it a lot, we all hear it a lot, but what do you think is the true purpose of life, and how someone who is 20 years old, who is discovering his own true purpose, like what is the way for them to discover their true purpose? And for that I have a quote too from Viktor Frankl. He used to say, ultimately, man should not ask what the meaning of his life is, but rather must recognize that it is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life, he can only respond by being responsible. So, can you please expand on one of his quotes and like how to find the true purpose of life for a youngster who is?
You see, you cannot ask for something called a true purpose while being simultaneously and stubbornly invested in all kinds of blind purposes. Maybe the true purpose of life is just to get rid of all the false purposes. Maybe that's what you are born for. Maybe the moment you were born, you were already handed over a lot of false purposes, plus the potential to accumulate even more false purposes. That's what your condition was the moment you were born. When you are an infant, are you purposeless? Are you purposeless? Ever seen an infant? Is the infant purposeless? No. Even as a very little baby, you still have a purpose or many purposes. I want the right temperature. I want the right humidity. I want my feed very regularly and at the right time. The room should be neither too dark nor too bright. I want a few people around me at the same time. I don't like crowds. And if I spoil my little pants or the diaper, I want somebody to quickly provide me with hygiene services. So you already have purposes and all these purposes relate to the body, don't they? Don't they? Think of these. Do these purposes really change as you grow up? No, they don't. You already have purposes and you have the potential to gather more purposes that are nothing but the old biological purposes amplified in a social way.
My name is Shashwat Godara. So as you said, like these are all handcuffs. So but if they are giving me happiness, and the one who has given me those handcuffs, and it is giving them also happiness, so why shouldn't I wear them?
Then why is there this question about the midlife crisis and the crash at the age of 20? Wish they could give you happiness. All that they give you is a bubble. Don't you see that the entire discussion today from the beginning till this point has been about crashes, midlife crisis and depression and rejection and whatnot? Wish all this stuff that you are wearing on your wrist or on your mind could give you lasting happiness. It does not. It does not.
Please guide us on like how to overcome rejections or failures at a young age, because when that happens to youngsters, they try to do things which are not good for them. It can include a lot of things like suicide. They get into depression, anxiety, and stress. Like what is what they should do in that case, because they are being rejected and fail again and again?
See, What is it that you love playing? Any sports you're interested in?
I love cricket.
You love cricket. Tell me of something that you are just not interested
I'm not interested in basketball.
in basketball. And somebody just pushes you hard to become the top basketball player in the country. And you prepare and train for 6 months just because you have been pushed to do all that, right? And then you go for the trials and selections and you're rejected there. Now, should you be depressed or should you celebrate?
Sir, in that case, I'll just try again.
You will try again for something you have no heart in?
I will try something that my heart goes into in the first place.
Right. So, how do you deal with that rejection? You went to basketball trials. And you went to basketball trials just because, let's say, your family told you that it is a tradition in our family. We all have been basketball players. That's your grandpa. Look at the huge thing in his hand. That's supposed to be basketball. Then that's your granny. She too was a basketball player, the top one in her village. So it's a tradition, you have to do it. So you go for it and you try for 6 months and then you get rejected. Apply your wits. Is it a matter of mourning or celebration? That's how you deal with rejections.
Thanks a lot, sir, for sharing your valuable strategies, your wisdom over all the years that you have worked and understood about life. We really appreciate you on behalf of Enactus Shamlal College Evening for coming and sharing all the things that you did today. And it was really nice having you. Apart from this, I'm really a huge fan of you. Not only just what you share, but of your brutal honesty. That's why, I also came here to learn and understand about what life is. The things that people asked are really important questions because we don't get all these answers everywhere. We see them on the internet, but we don't get an in-depth answer for them. So thanks a lot for coming and sharing all the things that you did. We really appreciate the time that you did for us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.